anniversary special Q&A. Thank you. Kind of like a 5-6K thank you subscriber video. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But if you haven't seen it and you like my channel, like ASMballeR, like all that jazz, and didn't see it, make sure you guys check that out. It's just a really big thank you to you guys. Going into depth a little bit on my future on YouTube, my future endeavors in general on, social media platforms, things like that. So make sure you guys check that out. And also make sure to give this video a nice little like if you like this sort of series we're doing. And comment down below how you think your team's doing. I want to know. How do you think, the Hawks or the Timberwolves or this, that, or the other are doing this year? Maybe trades you want to see happening. Firing your head coach. I want to know your guys' opinions on these teams. So, with that being said, obviously, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and yeah, let's get ready to tonight's video. Okay. This article is posted on February the 8th. It is currently the 10th, so 2 days old. 1 day old for me. So, with this sort of newer one, it does tell you last week's ranking of where they were, so we're also going to go over that as well, so that's kind of cool. At 30th, the last apparently placed team for power rankings are the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes. Do I believe this? I think yes. I think a Minnesota Timberwolves team without Karl-Anthony Towns is definitely the worst team in the NBA. With him, it's debatable. Definitely. Actually, I don't think they are. They're definitely not the worst team in the NBA with him because he's such a good player. But without him, definitely the worst. I like D'Angelo Russell. Anthony Edwards probably would be a contender for Rookie of the Year if he wasn't on such a bad team. And the team's actually not looking too bad. Obviously, they have a very young coach, very young everybody. But yeah, I think they're definitely last place, especially without Karl-Anthony Towns. That's for sure. They're definitely struggling. At 29, we have the Washington Wizards. Oh man, that's really sucky to see because obviously, Washington, Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook, Denny. They have a lot of good players. Rui Hachimura. It's not clicking. And I know a lot of people say, oh, fire Scott Brooks, this and that. Or even in one of my past trade videos, they talked about, already looking for trade packages to trade Russell Westbrook. Could you imagine if they traded Russell Westbrook before the season was over? That would be so crazy. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Do I think they're going to fire Scott Brooks? Probably at the end of the season. Do I think they're going to trade Bradley Beal? No way. There's no way. As long as Bradley Beal says he wants to be in Washington, he is going to stay there and make as much money and shoot as many baskets as he wants to without anyone batting an eye. So if he wants that, he'll get it. But yeah, that's really sucky. 28th, we have the Detroit Pistons. This is definitely, at least for me, my worst team in the NBA at full health. Obviously with Detroit not being ranked last, obviously the Timberwolves were, but obviously Timberwolves with a healthy Karl-Anthony Towns is a completely different story. I think the Detroit Pistons are the worst team in the NBA, if I'm being honest. They are just, that's where they're going to be. I mean, they do have good building blocks. I mean, Jeremy Grant actually looks like a player who's capable of being definitely not a go-to guy. No way, he's not a go-to guy, but he can be sort of like a good, solid starter, like a good role player on a really good team, if that ever did come. So, Killian Hayes, is that his name, Killian Hayes? I think so. The point guard or guard they drafted this year. I haven't really seen a whole lot of him because obviously he's been injured in and out of the lineup a whole lot. So, maybe once he establishes himself a little bit more, maybe he can get some more compensation for other pieces that you can trade. Like obviously, Blake Griffin. I mean, they did just get rid of Derrick Rose, but I don't even know. They got Dennis Smith Jr. back, and I think a pick, second round pick, something like that. I'm not even really entirely sure. Oh, they got Dennis Smith Jr. and a second round pick. New York, you have an amazing sixth man guard, and you gave him up for Dennis Smith Jr. and a second round pick. That makes no sense. Why would you even do that? Whatever. That's Detroit's own fault. For the Orlando Magic, they are the 27th ranked team. has risen up again very well. Vucevic, obviously a very forgotten star of the NBA because of he plays on the Magic and they're not doing so hot right now, but I definitely do have some faith in them even making a playoff spot this year, but I'm not even really entirely sure. And yeah, it says here Aaron Gordon will also be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks due to a severe ankle sprain. So they are 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they also just lost tonight. So add another loss to that column. That's pretty rough in my opinion. 26, we have the Chicago Bulls, and I've said this pretty much every week of Chicago. They don't make any sense. They should be a lot higher than they should be. Right now they are 12th in the standings, tied for 13th basically. They are only 3 games back of a playoff spot, so you know they can kick it in a high gear. They can definitely make a playoff spot. Obviously, Orlando, Chicago, Cleveland, Miami, New York are all separated by a game or half a game, all the way to 3 games. So that's 13-8, even 13-7, 13-6, 13-5, 13-4 isn't even that big of a gap. So 25, we have the Dallas Mavericks. Oh my God, Dallas was ranked 20th last week, and they're already down to 25th, 5 spots away from being the worst power-ranked team in the NBA. Wow, that's really sad. I feel really bad for them. They are 11-14 this year, half a game back of being the 14th seed in the West. Man, we might have to start, hashtag free Luka. We might have to start freeing Luka now. Free Bradley Beal, free Vucevic, free Luka, free Zach LaVine. There's a lot of players that need to be freed, and Dodgers might be next on the list. I mean, I know the injuries. Kristaps has been looking like not even half. Kristaps has looked like a sixth of himself this year. It just doesn't look like the same sort of player, or even potential-wise. I don't even really think he's there. I already did do a Dallas Mavericks rebuild, and I do think that trading Kristaps might be the next option for this team. Do I want that? No. Do I feel like he's a good pairing with Luka when Kristaps is at his peak? Absolutely, but does it look like it's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen anymore. That's really sad to see, but do I think they're that bad actually? No. Have they had a very rough schedule? Yes. Have they had a lot of injuries? Yes. But, it's the NBA, and this year it's rough for everyone. At 24, we have Cleveland. Cleveland did obviously have a really big boost, obviously beating the Nets that one game, and actually 2 games. 2 games. They beat them two times, and sort of got this big buzz, everything happening, and then they started to dip down a little bit more. They are right now in the 11th spot right now, which again, half game-ish back of the 8th seed. So they definitely have a chance of making the playoffs. Will they? It really all comes down to, what they do with Drummond, what they do with Love, what they do with their bigs, how Sexton plays. It really comes down to all that. But right now, do I see them as a playoff team? I mean, they're definitely a contender, and definitely obviously with the play-in this year, they'll definitely be probably in a play-in spot this year, which is really exciting. So, that'd be really cool to see. At 23, we have the Toronto Raptors. They're rising in the power rankings. They were 25th last week. They're 23rd now. They are in the 8th spot right now for the Eastern Conference, which, could you imagine an 8th-seeded Toronto Raptors team? That's not that bad of an upset team. If I would pick them maybe to win a series, if I'm being honest, that's a good seeding. Again, another team that can't catch a break, and then they just are they're revving the engine very slowly this year. I feel like Toronto's always one of those teams that are just always hit it super hard in the regular season and then save nothing for the playoffs. And this year, it could be the opposite. Maybe Toronto's saving a lot of their energy for the playoffs, and maybe they get an 8th, 7th, 6th seed and just blow people out of the water. That could be a very big possibility. Will that happen? Probably not, but who knows? I'm just glad to see them improving, and Siakam's looking a little bit better. Everyone on the team is just looking like it's starting to mesh a little bit easier, and they've also had a pretty rough schedule so far. But they're 6-4 in their last 10, 5-8 on the road, 6-5 at home. Pretty average, but we'll see if they can kick it up a little bit. 22, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. Definitely not bad. The Pelicans just beat the Houston Rockets today. not trying to jinx them, but 4-game win streak. That's not bad. They can definitely keep it up. I think it's definitely due to the play of their young big three, Lonzo, Ingram, and Zion. I think they're playing very well, especially Zion, especially Lonzo. Lonzo's playing more like regular scoring guard type of Lonzo, which is really cool to see. I'm sure he's probably getting a lot of inspiration from his brother, trying to, I don't know, not outplay him, but sort of match how he's doing in Charlotte. So that's really cool. 21, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wow, that's pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie. They are the, I think the worst team in the NBA record-wise, right? 6-18. Oh, sorry, they're 10-13. I forgot the Minnesota Timberwolves, but definitely talent-wise, definitely not the best for sure. But that's pretty interesting. What are they? Their record? They're 4-6. I think I would have ranked the Pelicans above them if I'm being completely honest. But that's not completely terrible. But I mean, Lou. I talked about Lou in my last Celtics rebuild video. Lou's playing pretty well this year for them. Lou Dort, and then obviously Shea is just the little shimmering light at the end of the tunnel for them, and he's looking really good. They just need to start getting rid of players that they don't need, like George Hill and Trevor Ariza. Try to get draft picks, try to get some compensation for those guys, any which way they can, because they're obviously not going to be wanting to stick around or pay those guys. 20th, we have the Houston Rockets, who are a scary team, man. That team is terrifying. I could not imagine having to play that team for like a play-in spot. 10, 7, 8, 9 matchup. God, I'm stupid. Sorry about that, but that'd be a tough team to have a play-in, especially with John Wall, Boogie Cousins, Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon. Like, that team is a scrappy team. But they're good. They're 6-4 of their last 10. They are on a 3-game losing streak right now. So again, do you rank the Pelicans above them? In my opinion, I think yes. Obviously, also due to last night's game getting blown up by 30, it kind of makes sense. I would too. Miami is ranked 19th. Not bad. Almost at the middle of their pack. Miami did just win a game tonight. They beat New York, who are obviously a team that they're behind, so it's good to sort of catch up on games like that. But this was like their first almost fully healthy team. If you check the box scores, they played Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, normal guys, Iguodala, Precious Achua. They still aren't playing Avery Bradley or Goran Dragic yet. I don't know if they're hurt or not. And then Marquez isn't playing it either. So I don't know if that's due to injuries, rotation, reason-wise. But obviously, not having Goran Dragic and Avery Bradley are definitely two big things. That's really holding them back a whole lot. And then also just the play of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, last night, if you guys are watching this video, scored 26 points, had 8 rebounds and 10 assists, and a steal and a block. So if we can see that consistently from Jimmy Butler this year, I think they will be fine. I talked about it in my Q&A video talking about Miami, and they're fine. They're going to make a playoff spot. It's just after making the playoffs, do I have a lot of confidence in them? No, not really. 18, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Wow. They were 15th last week, which is kind of surprising to me. But right now, Memphis is they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. Memphis is. They are 6-4 of the last 10, so they won 6 games, and it looks like, and then lost. So it looks like, so that's pretty rough. Again, no Jaren Jackson Jr. They just got Ja back, which is really good. But right now, it says Ja Morant struggled, averaging just 13 points and shooting 37% from the field in their past few games. That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Their defensive rating was 117, which was a normal 108 in the past few games as well, giving up a lot of second chance points. Yeah. Oh, they also didn't have Valanciunas. I didn't know that they lost Valanciunas as well. Man. So they didn't have Jaren and they didn't have Valanciunas. Honestly, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Valanciunas is definitely a very underrated player in my opinion. Definitely not like an all-star underrated. I'm not saying that, but definitely a good sort of a glue guy for a good team. Yeah, that's rough for them. 4-game losing streak. 17th, we have the Charlotte Hornets. And the sort of vibe we're all getting right now is Charlotte in the playoffs. Charlotte in the playoffs. Hornets, like Charlotte Hornets in the playoffs. I don't know. That'd be kind of fire, though. I'm not gonna lie. 16th though are the New York Knicks, ranked above them. I wouldn't rank the Knicks above the Hornets in my opinion, but the Knicks are on a 2-game losing streak. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Why are they ranked so high? They're almost in the top 500 of the NBA, top 15. I don't like that. That's too high in my opinion. But obviously, just getting Derrick Rose back is gonna be nice. Getting a sort of playoff bench will be good for them if they can try to contend for, again, 8th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th seed will be really good for them. And then again, you cross your fingers, hope and pray that some basketball luck will fall and a Kawhi, some sort of player like that will come and say, hey, I think you guys are finally ready to have a superstar and it's going to be me. And you guys have a good team, so let's get it done. Which I think is really all they need. They definitely need more depth, and I think they have Reggie Bullock or Alec Burks, one of the two of those guys, playing the small forward position. So I think they definitely need an upgrade at that position, but they do have Derrick Rose, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, Alfred Payton, Emmanuel Quickly, who's looking pretty good this year. That team's not looking all that bad, for sure. And finally, top 15, number 15, we have the Atlanta Hawks. Finally, the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta got a lot of slander at the beginning of the year because they weren't doing so well, but now they are in the 7th seed again. The 7th seed has a record of 11-12. The 3rd seed has a record of 14-12. So not that big of a jump from being a 7th seed, almost an 8th seed, to a 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. A very close race this year. It's very exciting, but Atlanta is definitely a team that's doing a lot better. They do have to face Dallas in their next game Wednesday, then the Spurs, then Indiana, so they definitely have a pretty rough schedule coming up. They did just beat Toronto, who's a team that's going to be also battling for a playoff spot, so that's good to get the game ups on those guys. Yeah, just Trae Young. Hopefully Trae Young can do what he got to do. Hopefully John Collins continues to sort of chug along this year, and even if he's not going to stay or whatever, it is what it is. As long as you get done this year and sort of get that good playoff experience for a great young budding team, I think will help progress this team way faster and further than just, tanking for a good draft pick like most teams are doing. You gotta, when you get a good squad together, you need some playoff atmosphere type stuff. You need to get that grit and grind in them, sort of help them develop a little bit more, and I think that's what Atlanta needs a lot, so hopefully they can get there. 14, we have the Sacramento Kings at 14. Wow. I feel that's kind of high. Oh my god. Sacramento last week was ranked 23rd, and now they're ranked 14th. That's almost a 10 spot jump. My god, what am I missing? Let's see. Sacramento is in the 9th spot right now, half a game behind the 8th-seeded Warriors. That's super crazy. They are 7-3 in their last 10. Okay, that kind of makes sense why they are like that now. Okay, not bad. For me, definitely the play of Tyrese Halliburton. I think that's his first name, Tyrese Halliburton has been very impressive to me. Again, watching them on TV, I can see it. He's looking like a really good guard, and it seems like he can be that 2 guard next to De'Aaron Fox. He's starting to create more for himself offensively, starting to facilitate more offensively, starting to play really scrappy defense, and his shooting ability looks like it's there. So if he can keep that up, there may be a future for a De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton backcourt. Is it better than Buddy Hield? In my opinion, yes. Buddy Hield is just a really good 3-point shooter. That's really about it. He doesn't really pass really well. He's not a facilitator. He's not like some sort of combo guard. He's just a good 3-point shooter. So if Tyrese can be that, but also a good facilitator, defender, this, that, and the other, that'd be pretty good for them. 13th, we have the Portland Trailblazers. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I mean, Portland did just beat the Orlando Magic tonight, which was good. It took a lot to do it. Damian and Carmelo Anthony had very good games. I think with Gary Trent Jr., really good games. And no one else on the Magic had a good game at all, so that definitely helped Knicks, but then they also beat the 76ers without Damian Lillard. It's a good like they're doing good, like they're doing okay. Like you lose to the Knicks, you beat a not so great Magic team, but you did just beat the 76ers. So you give and you take. So again, just health, please, please. I'm begging, literally begging. It sucks. Apparently Damian Lillard is having a lot of abdominal strain right now, and he's playing through it. So technically Damian right now is injured, and he probably will be sitting a lot more games, but he's playing through it, which is really good to hear. But again, Damian, CJ, we just got back Rocco, barely. Derek Jones Jr. is back as well, so we have Dame, CJ, Yusuf, Zach Collins are all still out. That's potentially 4 starters still out, basically, and then obviously Dame's playing through, which is really good, but just gotta cross your fingers, man. We just need a little bit of luck, and we can fight through this. Wow, 12th are the Golden State Warriors. Wow, they are right now the 8th seed in the West. They are 5-5 in their last 10, the same as the Portland Trailblazers. That's kind of interesting. Let's see, what are some games that they actually played recently? So they won and lost against the Spurs back to back. That's kind of interesting, but I have a feeling this rating is mostly because of the play of Steph Curry, who is playing absolutely out of his mind. I will say though, don't give me any hate, but I do think the Warriors' schedule is pretty easy. Recently, they played Dallas 2 games back to back, which we know Dallas isn't really all that great right now. They played San Antonio back to back, not that great. They did play a really good Boston Celtics team, but they lost, so that's kind of interesting. They beat Detroit, they lost to Phoenix, they beat Minnesota, like that's cool. So, they have some pretty okay matchups, but when they really start getting into some good games, it's gonna be very interesting. Like obviously they did just beat LA a couple weeks ago. That was really interesting. They beat the Clippers as well. They beat Toronto. So I have no idea where to rank this team. This team is just so everywhere. It's a terrifying team. You do not want to play this team in the playoffs. This team could either be, a sneaky 8-7 seed, or they could jump all the way up to the 4th or 3rd seed at the end of the year. I'm not entirely sure. We're gonna have to see what happens. It just matters what happens with Steph Curry and where he takes them, apparently. At 11, we have the Indiana Pacers. That's good. Yeah, they're definitely being very Indiana Pacery, very average. We still need to wait for Karis LeVert to come back, which will obviously boost them up a lot more in offensive-wise, even perimeter defense-wise. I'm very excited for that to happen for sure. The Denver Nuggets, they're a team that's kind of on the wishy-washy side as well. Denver is right now on a 3-game losing streak, 3-4 in their last 10. Yikes. On the plus side, I mean, Jamal Murray's looking okay. Jokic is looking like an MVP candidate. It seems like they're getting almost back into regular Denver Nuggets type basketball, but again, I think the slow sort of, motion of them getting into this season is really gonna hurt them a lot later on in the year, maybe even in the playoffs. They really start out really slow, and maybe they're saving their legs for the playoffs. Maybe they're just actually not playing well. I guess we're just gonna have to see. But still top 10 in the NBA. I think yes, they are still a top 10 talent. They are still one of the best teams in the West. Just not having the greatest of luck. And also Michael Porter Jr. is back. And again, Jokic, MVP candidate. He's looking really good. San Antonio is at 9 right now. The San Antonio Spurs are ranked 9th in the power rankings. Right now, they are 6th in the West. That's right. Bro, that is so insane. The Spurs, they make me eat my words every year about please starting a rebuild, start a rebuild, and they're a playoff contending team for sure. They're 14-11. They have a positive record. They are 6-4 in their last 10. That's crazy. We just talked about them beating the Warriors, which is a good pickup. But other than that, they did beat Boston. They beat Denver. Okay, not bad. They beat Portland. They're beating good teams. They beat the Clippers and the Lakers. San Antonio, hey man, that's another team. Sneaky that, if you're an 8-7 seeded Spurs team, or even if you're a play-in game, a Spurs team at a 9-10, bro, that is a dangerous team with good vets, good young pieces. Obviously, one of the greatest coaches of all time in sports history, Greg Popovich. Like, that's a terrifying team. I don't want anything to do with them. They're doing perfectly fine, but again, would I rather have them tank for like Cade Cunningham or someone like that this year? Duh. But this is the way they want to do their rebuild. This is the way they want to do their rebuild. At 8, wow. Last week, the LA Clippers were 3rd in the power rankings. Now they're 8th. My God, that's pretty bad. Let's see. Right now, they are 6-4 in their last 10 on a 2-game losing streak to Boston, and Sacramento. That's not a team you should be losing to, Clippers. What are y'all doing? They did also lose to Brooklyn, who is sort of like a formidable foe for the NBA title. They did lose to them. That's pretty bad. I think that definitely is maybe the hardest L. Maybe also Boston. Like, those two guys are teams you might face in the finals, and you need to win those games. You can lose a game to Sacramento by 3. Like, that's okay, but that Brooklyn game probably meant a lot to them. Boston game probably means a lot to you guys because those are, formidable foes, and you're not beating those teams. That might be a little bit of a on, analytic guys, or even in your own self-confidence. Beating those teams will probably make you feel a little bit better, but that's fine. The Clippers, in my opinion, are still my pick to win the title this year. I know, obviously, with the Lakers and the new Nets team and everything like that, they're good, and obviously they can win a title, but I think the Clippers are still my favorite to win the title this year. Just my opinion. At 7, we have the Boston Celtics. That's interesting. I actually have no idea. I think they're 2nd in the East, aren't they? Oh, they're 4th. My bad. Jeez. Yeah, Boston is struggling a lot. They did just lose to Utah by almost 20, which Utah is just, we're going to talk about them later. That's just a whole other animal. They lost to the Phoenix Suns. They lost to the Sacramento Kings. They lost to the Lakers, the Spurs, the 76ers, the Knicks. I get it. Like, it's a new team. It's a new team from last year, which makes sense. So they're going to be struggling. And then they also are losing players like Kemba for most of the start of the season. So he's sort of readjusting himself. And then Tatum goes down as well. I did just do a Boston Celtics Celtics rebuild where I traded Kemba Walker. At 6, we have the Phoenix Suns. It was really surprising at the beginning of the year, the buzz Phoenix had the entire year, and that very fizzled out fast. But right now they are the 4th seed, right behind the Clippers in the Western Conference. That's so crazy. Like, good for them. Like, that's really good. They're on a 3-game win streak at 6-4 in their last 10. They're playing good. I know Devin Booker really isn't playing Devin Booker type numbers, but the team's winning. Chris Paul's looking good. Aid's looking good. Their role players are playing way better than I thought they would this year. In my opinion, I thought they were still too young, still too out of position and things like that, but they're actually playing pretty well. So Phoenix, definitely a very good team so far this year. 5, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn's not the sort of, they can't use the excuse anymore of, oh, we're new, oh, we just got James Harden, oh, we have to readjust. No, there's no more of that. You're a couple good games into the season after that happened, and are also on a 3-game losing streak, so there's no more of this, oh, we're a new team. No, you lost to Detroit, Philly, and Toronto. I don't think you have the excuse of saying, oh, well actually, they did just lose Kevin Durant. That's actually kind of a big deal. I don't know. They're a good team. I think there still will be a finals contender for sure. It's just, it's really sucky not being able to watch them all play together at the same time, because as we saw with LA last year, the Clippers, that will be a factor at some point in time. Will it hurt them? I don't know. It hurt the Clippers though, so we'll have to see. At 4, we have Milwaukee. Thank God. Milwaukee's starting to be Milwaukee again. That team is looking really good. They did just lose, I think. Did they not? Let's see. Oh, my bad. That was a couple of games ago. They beat Denver, which was a really good game for them. And they're actually on a couple game win streak. Wait, what game was I thinking of that they was the game against Charlotte. I watched that game. That was actually a really good game for Charlotte. But right now they're on a 5-game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10. Chef kiss. Finally, the Bucks are starting to look like themselves. Only about 2-3 games out of the first seed of the East again. So they were struggling. They were in like the 5th or 6th seed a couple weeks ago. Now, boom, all the way back up to nearly number 1. So again, you need to start chugging along, chugging along, especially for Giannis. At the 3rd spot for the power rankings are the Philadelphia 76ers. Wow, that's crazy. They're 8-2 on a 2-game win streak. They beat Brooklyn, which was a crazy game for them. Thank goodness they did that. They did lose to Portland, though, which was their biggest sort of L, but that was without Ben Simmons, and that was also without Damian on Portland, so I'm sure they didn't really take that game all too seriously, and then Portland sort of punched them in the mouth and sort of was like, oh god, wait, we're going to lose this game, and they lost. So, but they did beat Brooklyn, which was a really good game for them to win, and when I put them higher, I mean, I know who the next 2 teams are. Actually, I think top 3 is good. I think 1, 2, or 3, if you put them anywhere in that sort of ranking right now, I think that's totally fair, but Joel Embiid, MVP, who knows? Ben Simmons needs to step up, though. Ben Simmons is not having that great of a year. Wow. Oh my god. I did not know they would be number 1, but they are. At number 2, though, we have the LA Lakers. At number 2, obviously the Lakers are always going to be a top sort of ranked team in power rankings. Even if they went on like a 7-game losing streak, they probably would still be top 3. But they are on a 5-game winning streak. LA is. That's crazy. They're 8-2 in their last 10. God, LeBron is just LeBron is carrying this team. No offense to Anthony Davis, but where is Anthony Davis? He is just not looking like AD that we know and love. He's averaging barely 22 points per game, 8.5 rebounds. It's good. Like, that's good. And I really hope that's just because he's saving himself for the postseason and not because something's wrong with him. But LeBron, on the other hand, is averaging 26 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. My God, that guy is just absolutely insane. Just a great player nonetheless. We all know that Lakers are still one of the best teams in the NBA, probably the most favored team to win a title again this year. I guess we'll have to see, but I still think the Clippers are still my pick. And then number 1, if you weren't keeping track, there's a team missing, a surprise team. Who is it? The Utah Jazz. Yes, the Utah Jazz are finally ranked, at least I think for the first time, ranked number 1 on the power rankings as the best team, apparently, in the NBA, the hottest team in the NBA right now, Utah Jazz. And you know what? I think they are. I think they might be on the biggest roll this year. They're on a 5-game win streak. They're 9-1 in their last 10, 20-5 on the year. Best record in the NBA. That's so crazy. And it's not like, oh, they're Mickey Mouse type of games. They beat Boston, Indiana, a really hot Charlotte Hornets team, Dallas. They did lose to Denver, but Denver's one of those teams where, again, they're a top Western Conference foe for sure. The Pelicans, they beat Denver before that. They beat Milwaukee. They beat the Clippers this year. Like, that team is crazy. And it's so funny when people saw my voting for All-Star, I guess, votes, starters, or whatever. People were kind of bugging about me picking Donovan Mitchell as sort of a starter. And, bro, Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, is balling out of his mind this year. How is no one else really noticing that? They played Boston and Donovan Mitchell, which I'm assuming Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Marcus, well, they don't have Marcus Smart, but I'm sure Jaylen Brown or Tatum were on him the entire game, and he scored 36 points, had 9 assists, had 2 steals, and 2 blocks and a steal that game. Is that not an all-star starter type numbers? Like, he's playing really good this year against really good teams. In my opinion, and he's the 1 seed, and he's the best record in the entire NBA. I think he should be a starter. I think him, and then you can throw out a name like Steph, Dame, Luka, someone like that. I think sure, but I think Donovan Mitchell at least has a hat in the ballot for NBA All-Star starter this year. That's just my opinion. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love doing these power rankings. I love talking sports with you guys. I love sure you guys like this video. Make sure you comment